Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. So I wanted to talk about soil testing. So if you all have followed us, you've probably seen this picture before. I'm very proud of it. I love it. It's a great picture. I like looking at it, but we're not talking about soil building today. We're talking about soil testing. I'm looking at a ton of soil tests right now this time of year and getting a lot of questions. And this is a really good example. I used a shovel to get this out. And this is why I like to use a soil probe for consistency versus a shovel. Because as you see here, this is relatively wide, and you can see the difference in basically organic matter. You can see it right through that soil. Now with the shovel, it's going to be very hard to get the same exact consistency and shovelful every single time. And as you go throughout a field, there's going to be natural variability in soil type, moisture, low spot, high spot, etc. So sometimes the shovel is going to sink really deep in. Sometimes it's going to shift. Sometimes it's not going to sink in as well, etc. So what ends up happening is you get these really variable results from year to year. And I can normally tell this when I'm looking at a soil test, especially if a customer gives me a couple years of history. Regardless of the lab, if I see the CEC is jumping from 5x from one time to the next, I can say, okay, something's off here. If I see organic matter is jumping 5, 10x from one year to the next, something is off. So those are just a couple of the metrics. You can look at base saturations, pH, etc. But those are just some of the metrics that you can go, whoa, within a year, we should not see that big of a drastic change. And typically, it's not the lab. It's probably because of soil sampling procedures. So what are some tips? One, use a soil probe. A soil probe is going to take the same diameter and mark it. So you take the same depth every single time. Mark the locations within your fields in which you'd like to take the soil test. So I use Onyx. I use waypoints. You can put T-posts or PVC pipes in your field if that works for you. Most guys have an Onyx or something like that. That works really, really well. Some guys even have GPS type units in their side-by-sides that they can use. Whatever works, but mark it so you're getting consistency in where you're taking it. And then lastly, I don't think it's as important, but time of year. I always try to take it the same time every year within a couple weeks. If you don't, not all is lost, but just remember if you're comparing a soil test from, like here in Ohio, March to July, well, in July, you're going to have organic matter mineralization occurring. You're going to have more heat units. You're going to have had more rainfall by that time of year. So likely you're going to have things changing from nutrient availability in July than what you would say still in kind of the winter time frame. So just something to keep in mind. But a lot of your other things should stay relatively the same, especially if you're following using a soil probe, marking it at the same depth, and marking the locations within your field that you're taking those samples from, you'll see a lot more consistent results. So I hope that helps out, guys. If you like this type of information, please share, subscribe, and follow along. And check us out at vitalizeseed.com. We really sure do appreciate you all.